Hey everybody, how you doing? Awesome. Well, it's great to be here in Birmingham. This has been a journey that I've been wanting to make for a long time. I don't know if you can see the background picture in this. Can you see who this is in the background? No? It's the most famous band from Birmingham. Black Sabbath.
UB40.
No. Duran Duran. No. Anyway, we're here for one reason. Do you guys know what that reason is? Why we're all gathered here today? It's called a plant. That plant is cannabis. You guys all know that hemp is cannabis, right? Hemp is cannabis, marijuana is cannabis, everything is cannabis. It's all one plant. That's what we're here to talk about with the marketing and the branding of this industry. How many people here are entrepreneurs? Entrepreneurs? There we go. Right on. Do you know that entrepreneurs are brands? We're all brands. Rick's a brand, I'm a brand. Anybody that raised their hand that's got a business, we are all brands, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Let's see, how do we move this? Let's go back. All right, as Robert had said, he talked about WAFBA. So WAFBA is a family of brands that we started back in 2012. It actually started as Colorado Hemp Company, and from there, we've kind of spawned off all these different entities, from Colorado Hemp Company, Tree Free Hemp, which is a hemp paper and printing company that we started in 2013. As Robert said, the NoCo Hemp Expo, which has grown from 2014 to now 2019. We're going into our 6th year. And year after year after year, we've more than doubled the capacity, vendor-wise, attendance-wise, from people coming from all over the United States, all over the world. Hemp stock paper is another hemp paper that we created, based in Colorado, homegrown, grown, processed, manufactured in Colorado. One Planet Hemp is an online hemp store that we started, T-shirts, hats, marketing materials, books. Silver Mountain Hemp Guitars is another brand that we just launched within the last year. We're making hemp composite guitars, guitar cabinets, guitar straps, guitar picks, volume knobs made out of hemp plastic that go to 11. And we've got several events here. As you can see, we've got the NoCo Hemp Village at Arise Music Festival, which is a huge music festival that we partner with every year that's very socially conscious. Southern Hemp Expo, which we launched in Nashville last year. Hemp on the Slope, which is another event that we do out of Colorado, the Hawaii Hemp Conference. Anyway, we're an event producer. We're a marketing company. We do paper. We do lots of things. Rick?
So Morris handles the promotion event side of things. I'm more on the politics, farming, business side of things. So I'm the vice president of the Hemp Industries Association, our national advocacy trade organization. Also on the board of Vote Hemp, which helped to legalize hemp finally this year after 20-some years of being an organization in the States. Also have farms in Vermont, Colorado, Oregon, Maine, New York, and then event marketing and promotion also with Morris. So today we're going to talk about how to build your brand. So you are a brand. When you think about brands, you want to go to the next slide. Lots of these brands, Virgin here started with records on the trains, and they took on British Airways. We got Tesla, Nativa, Manitoba Harvest just got a big funding, a big purchase, $400-some million, I think, just got purchased.
So Canopy Growth, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Canopy Growth. They're like probably the biggest cannabis company in the world right now. Well, actually, those guys didn't purchase them. It was Tilray.
Yeah.
So Tilray's like the second or third in line. Anyway, those guys just purchased Manitoba Harvest from Canada, who has been driving the hemp foods industry since 1999. They're the largest hemp foods company in the world, and now Tilray has just bought them. And it kind of shows you this whole one plant thing where you've got companies like Canopy Growth, Tilray, and
Aurora Investments.
Yeah.
But if you look, each of these brands, right, brings out something in you. So Virgin, Judas Priest, Joe Rogan Show, right? All of these brands speak to us in a certain way, and that's based on what they've done to build their particular brand. So.
Well, yeah, and several of these brands you can put a face to it. So with Tesla, there's Elon Musk, and Elon, as an entrepreneur, I look to Elon as a guy that's really purpose-driven. You know, somebody that's doing something that's trying to benefit the planet and do something with a brand that's going to really make a difference in the long term for humanity. Virgin Records, you know, Richard Branson, another guy who's been out there, and Richard Branson is the brand. I mean, he has built this brand based around what his value system is. Rolls-Royce, to me, that's kind of a faceless brand, but I threw this up here because Rolls-Royce has a...
It's British.
Yeah, well, and they're right here. They're based out of Birmingham. Is that correct?
It was British.
They're not anymore? Oh, really? They don't have a facility here? Oh, well, I saw that they had a big hub here in Birmingham, so we decided to throw the logo up there. Yeah. So as we said, entrepreneurs are brands. And to build that brand, you need to be visible in the marketplace, you need to be passionate, you need to be authentic, and you need to show up every single day. How do I show up? How do we show up? Events like this. You know, these events are going to be taking place around the world more and more. And if you're in this industry, you need to show up. You need to attend, you can exhibit, you can sponsor, you can speak. All of this stuff helps build your brand, build your visibility, helps you stand out in the marketplace. Other things that you need to do, consider print media, digital media, television, terrestrial radio, web radio, and podcast.
And so, yeah, and all of that starts, first of all, get a logo, create a brand, create a logo. All those logos you saw before, they're distinct and they're unique. So you create your logo, then you go out, you network, go to events, engage media, engage digital advertising, make stories that are relevant, get involved in the news, reach out to organic news organizations. Best way to get traction is through the newspaper and journalism. Traditional radio, podcasts. I mean, there's a lot of options, but once you have your brand and your logo created, right, and you build, you know, your mission statement and what you're out there to do, what your brand is going to do, right, not only on the business side, but also socially, then you go out and start getting involved in social media. We have Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, all these sorts of items. Facebook is now finally starting to allow a little bit more advertising on the CBD side specifically. I guess 6 months ago, we weren't allowed to advertise CBD because it was an illegal substance. Now they're saying we're not allowed to advertise it because it's a pharmaceutical drug. So it went from an illegal thing to a pharmaceutical drug pretty much overnight on December 20th in the States when we signed the Agricultural Act of 2018, which made hemp legal. Essentially took it from an illegal drug to a pharmaceutical drug overnight. So there's still some issues with social media as far as getting exposure and allowing them to open the door to allow us to advertise. But it is being done, and those changes are coming on Facebook specifically.
Has anybody here had any issues with Facebook and having a page where you get basically, you can't boost posts, you can't advertise? So we've got, I don't know, probably a dozen Facebook pages. And I got shut down in 2015 for creating a hemp-printed Declaration of Independence. The U.S. Declaration of Independence, seeing that we got a hemp paper company, we printed these posters made out of hemp, the Declaration of Independence, and Facebook flagged me. In 2015, I appealed, got denied, and since then, all of my accounts have been flagged, and I have not been able to advertise on Facebook, boost any post since 2015. And that's still the case. Even with passing of the Farm Act, Facebook is still prohibiting and obstructing many hemp companies, even clothing companies and food companies, stuff that's been legal, not even questionable. Not just the CBD companies, hemp paper. So there's stuff going on in the marketplace that, there's barriers that we still have to overcome.
And speaking of hemp, just to be clear, I'm dressed intentionally this way. Everything I'm wearing is made out of cannabis, except for my shoes. From socks, pants, everything is made out of cannabis, just as an FYI. So again, the brand, walk the walk, talk the talk. We have hemp business cards. To me, I go to someone in the hemp industry, if you don't have a hemp printed business card or a card on the actual plant itself, what are you doing? You got to support the industry. And really, that shows me, right? If I hand someone a hemp business card, I'm like, this is made out of cannabis. That speaks volumes to your ability to communicate and to relate. And it's also a good icebreaker as well.
Right, and being able to vote with your wallet is also an extension of your brand. I mean, what are you going to support? Are you going to support the stuff that you say you believe in? If so, then you need to be voting with your wallet. And instead of, buying stuff that's GMO, buy, an organic hemp product. Instead of buying a polyester t-shirt, go buy yourself a hemp t-shirt, or at least a 55-45 hemp cotton t-shirt. Voting with your wallet is what's going to help move this industry forward and help validate your brand. Other ways to help build your brand, getting involved with charitable organizations and community outreach. And as Robert had mentioned in my bio, I've been involved with an organization called Realities for Children for about 20 years in northern Colorado. And this organization helps 20 to 25 different nonprofit organizations, kids at risk, women at risk, battered women. And every year I get to help put together this huge event and book all the music, book all the production, and we raise anywhere between $125,000 and $150,000 a year for a local organization that's really doing great community work. And giving back like that, it's something I like to do, but it helps validate the brand when you reach out to the community and you get support for it. And in Colorado, I mean, we're in a unique situation where we've got recreational and medical marijuana, but with that, the whole hemp and cannabis thing is being embraced by other walks throughout the community that otherwise, it's not like, hey, these guys are just a bunch of stoners. These guys are actually giving back and doing something positive for the community.
Yeah, so not only that, but millennials, 85% of millennials make purchase decisions based upon the social consciousness of the firm they're buying from, right? So two glasses of milk, one gives money back to a charity, one doesn't. Millennials are more apt to buy from. So the market is moving towards a more socially conscious, more engaged, business. So triple bottom line, people, planet, profits, socially conscious organizations. We really have an opportunity in this industry. It's so unique and it's growing so fast. We have an opportunity to kind of change the game and really take corporate responsibility back and make it corporate social responsibility. So socially conscious, giving back to the community. Not only is it the right thing to do, and not only will you feel better about yourself when you do it, but you'll actually increase your profits, your margins, you'll increase your market because purchasers, particularly millennials, are looking more towards those types of companies that are socially conscious, that aren't out just for profit. So we got it. And then obviously we need to get shit done. So don't walk the walk. When you talk the talk, walk the walk. Say you're going to do something, do it. Follow through. That's the differentiator in life, really. But in this industry, there's a lot of talk, right? And there's a lot of bullshit, right? So filter through that. Do what you're going to say. Say what you're going to do. And with that, we're going to open it up to a couple questions. We have about 5 minutes left. Did you have something?
About the Facebook advertising. So, how you said that there's a workaround. So is that possible for me to approach Facebook and say that I'm selling this product? Is it possible for me to actually advertise now?
So yeah. Yes, there are CBD companies that are advertising on Facebook. For example, I just have an education trip called the Hemp Road Trip. Purely education. We didn't sell anything. I got shut down in 2016. And it's still all my accounts canceled. So I have to have a friend call in, be an admin. I mean, there's workarounds on Facebook. Also, you can write to Facebook and give them some legal information, maybe proactively, might be beneficial. But I'm kind of more ask for forgiveness than permission. So I get on there for a bit and then get kicked off and get on there somewhere else. So it's going to take a little bit of time, but I think they'll come around. The question is, what about different countries? Yeah, so I'm not familiar. I've done some advertising in Colombia, but that we haven't had an issue, but I haven't done anything over here in the EU. I'm not aware specifically. I would assume the same kind of regulations apply here as there, but some of the larger companies are actually able to advertise with Facebook, coincidentally.
Yeah, well, Facebook's screwed with companies really all around the globe, from my understanding. I know that there's several companies in Europe who've been flagged and cannot advertise.
I'm okay if someone comes up with another option other than Facebook, for the cannabis space, I would prefer that because I don't really want to give my money to these guys that have been fucking with us for 3 years, you know?
Yeah, well, we covered all these different social channels on a previous slide, and Facebook's got like 3 billion users now, and Twitter's got 2 billion, and these companies are huge with lots and lots of participants, and being able to create our own cannabis social media site, nobody has yet done it in a way that's been successful and been able to get millions and millions of people. I mean, it's really kind of preaching to the choir when we want to go well beyond the choir that's here.
Time for maybe one more question.
Any further questions? So I've got a quick question for you then, Rick and Morris. Are there any sort of tips and tricks for working around people like Facebook and other social media platforms?
So yeah, I think one of the best things to do from a social media standpoint, especially with Facebook, is there's an influencer market, right? So there's direct advertising, which you can advertise directly and promote and boost your posts on Facebook. But when that gets shut down, if that gets shut down, a way to use your products and get your products out there is to send it to influencers and you have 100 people you send your products to. They all get on Facebook and post about the product, videos, those sorts of things. It's very difficult for Facebook to track and shut down all 100 of those accounts, right? So the influencer market, people that are involved and really have followings on social media, that's a good way to get exposure, and it's also a little bit less expensive way to get exposure while also building your brand in an environment that's not as accepting of cannabis advertising at the moment, or hemp advertising at the moment. So that influencer network is probably one of the best ways to really engage social media in the current environment.
And what lessons do you think that we can learn over in the UK then with regards to the marketing and branding expertise that you've learned from the US? What we could draw from you now?
I would say really the social and purpose-driven aspect of what you're doing with your brand. I mean, I think if you go through here and you see 100 CBD brands, what's going to set your brand apart from the guy that's in the booth right next to you? I mean, I think that you have to have something that will engage the customer and that will make the customer think, I really want to purchase from this person because, they're really doing something that's going to further the plant, further the planet, and further society. So how do you set yourself apart? And I think it's being purpose-driven and having a mission and a vision that's going to be beneficial for, something other than your own bank account.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, have you got any further questions? If you'd like to show your appreciation, please then for
guys.
Morris and Rick. That's a
Thanks,
great
everybody.
presentation.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you very much. Where can we find you if any of the audience want to see you and have and speak to you? Where would you be?
Yeah, we'll be here tomorrow. Again, 11 o'clock speaking tomorrow, but we'll be throughout the floor today wandering around talking with people. So please, if you have questions individually, come up and grab us. And thanks for having us.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much.